I was halfway through taking out the trash when she hit me with it. No build-up, no warning. Just looked at me over the kitchen island, arms folded, voice calm like she was reading weather updates. I only got with you to make him jealous. I stood there holding a bag of leftovers and coffee grounds, sweat sticking my shirt to my back, and my brain just stalled. She didn't look sorry. She didn't even look smug. Just blank. Like that sentence didn't matter. Like the weight of it didn't even register. I didn't say anything right away. I just set the trash down by the door and leaned against the frame. My chest felt tight, not in some poetic heartbreak way. Just that kind of pressure when your body knows something's over before your head does. She walked past me to the fridge, grabbed a bottle of water, and didn't say a word. I asked, "So what now?" She shrugged. "I mean, it worked. He texted me last night." That's when I realized something I should have seen a long time ago. She never planned to build anything real with me. I was just a mirror she held up to someone else. Every fight we had, every passive-aggressive comment, every "why don't you ever?" was all part of her trying to spark something in another guy. I wasn't her partner. I was a strategy. And here's the thing, I'm not dumb. I noticed the signs. I just let myself ignore them because it was easier to play along than admit I'd been cast in a role I didn't audition for. The flirty stories about her ex, the way she lit up when he viewed her Instagram story, the sudden interest in restaurants he used to take her to, hell, even the time she, accidentally, left her old necklace from him out on our dresser. That wasn't nostalgia. That was theater. I didn't call her out before because I kept thinking maybe it was just old wounds she hadn't dealt with. We all carry baggage. I wasn't trying to control her past. But now, with that line, she made it clear, I wasn't a person to her. I was a chess piece. I didn't explode. I didn't cry. I didn't demand anything. I just nodded once, grabbed my keys and walked out. Sat in the car for 10 minutes. Didn't even start it. Just sat there thinking about how many hours I'd sunk into that relationship. Weekends helping her set up her online store. Late nights she'd vent about her job and I'd talk her down. Birthday dinners I planned while she forgot mine. Sex that always felt like a performance, like she was waiting for applause that never came. I thought about how she once told me she didn't feel safe with me emotionally because I didn't fight for her during our arguments. I remember how I just blinked at her and said, "What does fighting even look like to you?" She didn't answer. Just rolled over in bed and went silent. Now I get it. She didn't want clarity. She wanted chaos. She wanted drama. She wanted someone to break a wall to prove something. I come from a different school. I was raised to handle things directly, not dramatically. You've got a problem, we talk. If that doesn't work, we move. What I'm not gonna do is turn into a character from some shitty romance movie just to make someone feel like they're worth yelling over. That's not love. That's ego maintenance. That night, I stayed at my buddy Marcus' place. He didn't ask questions. Just handed me a beer and cleared a spot on the couch. Men know. We don't need to dig for the sob story. Most of the time, we've lived some version of it already. Around midnight, I told him what happened. Word for word. He said, "She's not even ashamed?" Nope. Said it like she was commenting on the news. Marcus shook his head. That ain't a woman you build with. That's a woman you survive. He was right. Next morning, I went back. She was on the couch, scrolling through her phone like nothing happened. I grabbed a few things, just essentials. She didn't ask where I was going. She just asked, "So that's it? You're not gonna fight for me?" That hit me harder than the first line. Fight for you? Fight for what, exactly? For the privilege of being your placeholder while you tried to win back someone who already moved on? For the honor of being the man you turn into a cautionary tale later when your next thing falls apart? I looked at her and said, "You use me. You don't get loyalty after that." She scoffed, like I was being dramatic. "God, you're so emotionally unavailable. That's why he left me." There it was. The full circle. This wasn't even about me. Not really. I was just the nearest guy willing to listen, pay for dinner, and not raise my voice when she needed someone quiet enough to shout over. I left my key on the table. Didn't say anything else. For a couple of weeks, I lived light. Slept better. Ate what I wanted. No more listening to her pick fights over tone. No more last-minute emergencies when she'd forget rent. No more walking on eggshells because she was in one of her moods. I got quiet clarity. Real peace. Funny thing is, the silence said more than any fight ever could. A few mutual friends messaged me saying she was confused and hurt that I didn't even try. That I just disappeared. I told them, she told me what I was. I believed her. They didn't have a comeback for that. And she didn't reach out again, not really. Just posted passive-aggressive quotes online about how some men give up too easily. Then a photo with some guy who looked like her type, flashy, gym body, probably the same one she wanted to make jealous in the first place. That was fine by me. I'm not bitter. I'm just not stupid anymore. You don't realize how much weight you've been carrying until you set it down. The second week after I left, I got an unexpected email from her. Not long, just 3 lines. I know you're hurting. I didn't mean to make it sound like you didn't matter. But I thought you'd at least fight for me. That word again, fight. She really thought love was about struggle. About clawing and competing and who could out-dramatize who. That's not how I grew up. My old man didn't scream at my mom to prove he loved her. He showed up. He paid bills. He made dinner when she was tired. He taught me that the loudest people in a room usually have the least to say. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to win. Not because I didn't care. But because I finally respected myself enough to know what not to walk back into. See, people like her don't want healing. They want control. If I had replied, she'd spin it. Make it a breadcrumb to reel me back in. She'd say she didn't mean it like that. Blame it on being hurt, maybe even cry. And the second I lowered my guard, she'd turn the knife again, quietly, surgically, like she always did. I'd played that game long enough. There was this one time, I think back on it now and it feels small, but it says everything. We were at a birthday party for her friend, some rooftop thing downtown. Everyone's drinking wine, fake laughing at jokes they don't care about. I'm holding her purse while she flirts with some guy I didn't know. A little too close, too smiley, the kind of body language people use when they're trying to make someone else notice. I didn't say anything then. Just watched. Later that night, I brought it up, calmly. Said it felt disrespectful. She didn't deny it. Just said, "You're too sensitive. That's why guys like you always get left behind." I remember how that sat in my chest. Heavy. I didn't argue. I just said, "Okay." And that became a pattern. Every time she crossed a line and I pushed back, I was either insecure or too quiet, or not a man. She had a whole vocabulary for gaslighting. It took me months to realize I wasn't the problem. I was just the wrong kind of target. She didn't want peace. She wanted noise. She wanted sparks, jealousy, the drama of almost breaking up followed by performative makeups. And because I didn't feed that cycle, I was boring. Disposable. Until I wasn't there anymore, then suddenly, I was supposed to have fought harder. I started seeing it clearly after I left. How much of my time was swallowed up by her chaos. Things I used to enjoy, lifting, watching fights on Saturdays with the guys, even cooking, slowly got replaced with handling her moods. If I was quiet for too long, she'd accuse me of being distant. If I was tired, I was withdrawing. If I went out without her, it was suspicious. But when she disappeared for hours or went cold mid-conversation, I was expected to be understanding. It wasn't a relationship, it was an emotional hostage situation with good sex sprinkled in. Even that, when I really thought about it, was transactional. Praise when I did what she wanted. Coldness when I didn't. She once told me after a fight, "I wasn't even in the mood tonight, But I didn't want you to start whining. That was supposed to make me feel what? Grateful. I know some guys reading this are nodding. You've been there. You recognize the signs late because we're taught to push through. Provide. Stick it out. Be the rock. But no one tells you that even a rock erodes when it's beaten on long enough. And financially? Don't get me started. I covered more than I should have. Rent when her commission didn't come in. Groceries when she decided she was too stressed to work that week. Even her car payment once. I never made a big deal about it. I thought that's what support looked like. But here's the twist: support was a one-way street. I was expected to be solid, dependable, unshaken, until I needed something. Then I was needy, or codependent. When I told her I was thinking of switching jobs because I felt burned out, she didn't even ask what I wanted to do next. She just said, "That better not mean I'll have to pick up the slack." That was 3 weeks before the breakup. I should have known right then. I should have walked. But when you're in it, your perspective warps. You start to believe you're the problem. That if you just do a little more, it'll balance out. That maybe she's just healing and you're the lucky one she chose to heal beside. It's bullshit. We romanticize dysfunction because we don't know what healthy looks like. After the 3rd week of being out, I started untangling all that. I made a list. Real simple. What did I actually get from this relationship? Not hopes. Not intentions. Tangible things. Asterisk peace of mind? No. Asterisk emotional support? Rarely. Asterisk growth? Only the kind that comes from walking on glass. Asterisk stability? Hell no. Asterisk real love? I don't even know anymore. The list was short. Then I made another one. What did she get from me? Asterisk a place to live she didn't fully pay for. Asterisk emotional buffer from her ex. Asterisk someone to post for validation. Asterisk someone to carry her when she wanted to collapse. Asterisk someone to blame when she couldn't get what she wanted. That list was long. I looked at those 2 pages, side by side, and it became impossible to lie to myself anymore. She wasn't my partner. She was a parasite with a pretty smile. About a month out, I saw her again. Not planned. I was grabbing coffee at this place near my old gym. I hadn't been in that area for weeks, hadn't needed to. But I was early for an appointment, and figured I'd kill time. She walked in like the room owed her attention. That same walk she always had when she wanted someone to look. Her hair done up like she was trying to remind everyone she was doing just fine. But there was something off this time, shoulders a little more tense, smile a little more strained. She didn't see me right away. I watched her order, phone in hand, probably scrolling for attention. Then her eyes caught mine. That half-second pause? I'll never forget it. She walked over. No. Hi. No apology. Just this awkward, forced confidence. Like she had to pretend I wasn't a chapter she'd burned through. "Didn't expect to see you here," she said, voice light, but her hands clenched around her purse strap. "Didn't expect to be here," I replied. She stood there like she wanted to say something meaningful, but didn't know how to start. I wasn't going to help her. I'd given her enough of my energy. I waited. Finally, she said, "I've been thinking about everything. About how it ended." I raised an eyebrow. Ended pretty clearly, I thought. She bit her lip. A nervous tell. "You didn't even try to work through it. You just left." There it was. Again. You didn't fight. You didn't beg. You didn't prove your love by groveling after being disrespected. "I left," I said slowly, "because you told me exactly what I was to you. And for once I listened." She started to say something, but I didn't let her. Not this time. "Don't twist this into me being weak. I'm not weak. I'm just not the kind of man who sticks around after someone tells him he was a prop in their drama." Her eyes watered. Whether from shame or manipulation, I couldn't tell. Probably both. She always cried when she was losing control. But I didn't bite. I continued, I'm not mad at you. Honestly. I needed that moment. I needed the truth out loud. It cleared the fog. She looked down. Said something about how she didn't know what she wanted back then. That she was broken from the last relationship. That maybe she was using me, but didn't realize how much I actually meant. I nodded. I get it. But none of that gives you the right to expect loyalty after you made it clear I was never more than leverage. I grabbed my coffee and walked past her. Didn't look back. And for the first time since the whole mess started, I felt light. Not happy. Not proud. Just done. That was the moment. That was the break. Not the night I left. Not the text she sent later. Not the list I wrote. It was that coffee shop. Because I realized she still thought this was a story where she held the pen. She didn't. Not anymore. I started recalibrating my life after that. Not in some Instagram influencer, healing era way. Just small things that added up. I deleted old photos. Not out of bitterness, just didn't need the reminder. I blocked her number, not because I feared what she'd say, but because I knew she'd use silence to bait me again. I told mutual friends I didn't want updates. Didn't care who she was with. Didn't want to know if she was struggling or missed me, or was in therapy. That chapter was over. And more importantly, I started rebuilding my own rhythm. Back in the gym. Back to cooking for myself, not to impress someone, but because I liked it. I reached out to friends I'd gone silent on. Told them the truth when they asked. No drama. Just facts. Most of them said the same thing. Yeah, we wondered why you were putting up with that. That stung, but it also confirmed something important. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't imagining the manipulation. People saw it. I just didn't want to admit it. Because admitting it meant facing the embarrassment of being used. And nobody wants to feel like a fool. Especially not a man. Especially not one who gave his all and still got played. But here's the thing, getting used doesn't make you weak. Staying used does. And I was done with that. She tried reaching out through other channels eventually, new number, burner Instagram. I didn't reply. Not once. The last message she sent said, I don't know how you detached so easily. I didn't reply, but I'll tell you what I would have said. It wasn't easy. It was necessary. Because detachment isn't coldness, it's self-respect with boundaries. It's saying, I can love you and still walk away. I can care and still choose peace. I heard she tried the same pattern with another guy, posting flirty pics, tagging locations her ex used to take her, subtle shots on social media. He pulled the plug within a month. You know why? Because people are getting wiser. The masks crack faster. The red flags don't get repainted as easily. And the next guy wasn't trying to be someone's lesson or stepping stone. From what I've gathered, she's quieter now. More isolated. Friends pulled back. Reputation dinged. Not because anyone slandered her, but because patterns echo. She burned bridges that used to carry her through the storm. And now? She's got no shelter when the rain comes. That's not revenge. That's gravity. You treat people like tools long enough, eventually no one volunteers to be used. As for me, I'm good. Not perfect. Not some sage. But better. Clearer. And finally walking forward with both eyes open.